everyone, February 2nd, 2024, 7 something a.m. and I am probably going to be late for work and I could give a fuck. I really can't. Like, I'm so exhausted. And it feels like I have the mono, even though I know I don't have the mono. Meaning mononucleosis. And I don't know if I have the COVID. I don't know. I know I'm tired. I know my arm hurts from having tennis elbow and golfer's elbow. I know that the baby's anniversary is coming up in a few days, and I know Marie's birthday is her anniversary is going to be February 24th, and then I know my Chief's anniversary is going to be in fucking March, so, like, a lot of big cluster fuck anniversaries are coming up, and I hate it, alright, like, I hate it. And there is nothing I can do about it. Like, and it doesn't even feel real that Marie's been gone like a year. And I think, like, the whole thing was very surreal because, like, I had never been in that funeral home before, ever, before my chief. It did what he did. Never. And then her funeral was there, or her service was there too. And it feels like my mom just told me that she died, you know, like I remember that night, and I don't remember shit that happens recently, you know, like, and I remember laying in bed because I just got off the phone with Amanda. And we were on the phone for a while, and I was getting ready for bed, and I was in bed, and the phone rang, and I knew, you know, how you just know, and my mom called up and was like, Marie's dead. So I went downstairs and I said, I'm sorry for being upset because it was her friend. But Marie was like a grandma to me. And then I called Amanda back and I had to call her a couple times and she answered. And I was like, please don't ever leave me. Like, Marie was there for every single thing that happened. Like, I could count on her for anything, you know, like, if something happened, like, I knew that I could at least depend on her. And then I went downstairs again because I was supposed to go over, that happened Friday night last year, and I was supposed to go over that Saturday, like the next day, and I was like, but she knew I was coming over, you know, like, I just asked my mom, I was like, she knew I was coming over, right? Like, she knew that I cared, right? Like, and she said she knew, and that she was excited to see me, and that she knew that I was gonna be there. You know, and just a few days ago was my mom's friend's Vera's anniversary, and her husband was in the army. I mean, she was in her late 90s when she died, and that woman had fire in her until the day she went into hospice, and they were like, oh, she probably has a couple days. And that old lady lasted more than over like 2-3 weeks in hospice. She did not give up. And the day of my mom's one surgery, I spent the whole day with her in hospice, and I still can't read Bridges of Madison County, because I read some of that to her. And I just talked to her and stuff, and she was so tiny. You know, but it's like all of these people, my whole life is like being erased. People who've known me since I was brand new are dying and leaving. And I am losing my history in a way, you know, like, but Marie knew everything, and Marie would laugh at stuff I would say, like, she knew I was stupid, like, but the first time she got sick, because, like, she had heart issues and everything. She had to have, like, open heart surgery and stuff, and not recently. And then she had breast cancer, and she had to do radiation. She did get the COVID vaccine when my mom got it, and she got the two-parter, and she still got it from her daughter-in-law's parents when they came up from Florida, because they had it. And it just weakened her. And the first time she went to the hospital for it, her surgeon said that, or her doctor said that they thought she was going to die. That her being awake, talking, everything else should not be happening. And like before she stopped like breathing and everything else while she was still coherent, they asked her, can we put you on artificial life, like that machine that they have? And she gave them her consent, and then that was it. And the next day I literally thought, like, oh, I'll just talk to one of the nurses in the ICU, because in ICU here, or in CICU, critical ICU, it's one nurse for 2 beds, I think, now, because of the amount of nurses. And she answered her phone. And she answered her phone. I got to talk to her. Hey. And I was like, how are you alive right now? How are you talking? Like, and she's like, I don't know. Like, and they released her too early each time. Like, and her social worker or caseworker, morning, the second time that I called, I asked her if Marie was gonna die, and she said, well, we all die. No shit, we all die. Thank you for being such an amazing caseworker. You know? Like, are you fucking kidding me? I just stuttered. Sorry. I tell you, I have a speech impediment. I'm telling you that. Like, people think I lie. And I don't. But I was like, are you sending her home to die? Is she dying? We all die. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So then she goes home, and my mom's sitting there, and Marie, like, wakes up one day, and she's like, do you hear that? And they're like, no. And she's like, it's like a word, dun, 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 dun. And I'm like, Marie, we don't know what you're talking about. Like, what are you saying? And she was like, it sounds like a machine going, whir, dun dun dun. And they were like, okay, like, you know, maybe she was having a dream, whatever. So, when TT called the ambulance the day that she died, they had the power of attorney paper and her DNR on file at the hospital. But TT didn't have a physical copy. That's her sister. And she was in charge of everything. But because they didn't have the DNR, the ambulance had to try. And Marie even said, don't call the ambulance yet. Because, you know, she had TT check her saturation rate and her heart rate, and it was like down to, it was low. And Marie was still like, don't call the ambulance yet. Because I think she knew, like, if it got low enough, and then she went, she would already be gone by the time they got there. But because they didn't have the DNR, they still had to try and resuscitate her. And, I mean, I haven't been on an ambulance in God knows how many years. My first and only time on an ambulance, and that was when my blood sugar dropped like 40 something down at family court. And they had to do sternum rubs on me because I was like gray, had no color in my lips, everything else. So I haven't been in an ambulance in over 16, 17 years. But TT said, like, they have this new machine type of thing where they put the person on it, and I think it's to, like, get the blood flowing instead of them laying flat on the floor. It gets them, like, standing almost, and it sounded like what Marie described she was hearing. And then with the baby, I was a mess yesterday, I think. Or the other day, I don't remember. I've been in Wednesday. Because it's like, he was 6 months old. What does a 6-month-old do to you that you are charged with conspiracy? You know, it was first-degree murder, and homicide second, manslaughter, child abuse, child neglect, child endangerment, conspiracy. And they did, like, the lesser included charges in case they didn't get them for first-degree murder. The father's bail was $1 million. My cousin's bail was $1 million until they decided that they would let her out to be with, like, to have an hour once a week supervised at the DSS building in Tucson, Arizona. That was supervised by the foster mom, which should not have happened. But they had to stop it after like 1 or 2 visits because it was traumatizing his sister. I'm not sure if he picked them or if he picked me in a way. I was telling the deputy that the other day. Because when that happened and I was going through everything, I'll do a story time about him again. I don't think I've ever done a full story time with, like, the timelines and everything. But by the end of it, like, medical examiners you know, like detectives, DA's office. I got hooked up with Homicide Survivors Inc. Thank God, Goddess for that. Um, my victim impact statement. When the medical examiner called me and was like, because his body was released, they were like, he was like, what do you want me to do? And I gave him my other cousin's phone number, her sister. I'm not going to mention names. And, as soon as I did that, I don't get bloody noses. I had the worst bloody nose of my life. Like, it lasted a good hour. There was, like, stained carpet bloody nose at work in one of the DSS offices because the person wasn't there that day. And it was because my blood pressure had dropped. Like, I felt better afterward. And then I actually had a nosebleed that night and then overnight because I woke up and my bed was like a murder scene. But I think it was his way of saying it's okay. And then that's when I tried one more time, and yeah. So, and then I found, yeah. So it's a whole thing. I will have to do a story time, like a proper story time. I think I'm ready to do that now. But I think he picked me and not his parents to be born to. And I think it happened, A, to save his sister from a miserable fucking life with those people, and B, to make me a stronger person and to show what I can handle. Because people thought I was going to die during that time. People thought I was going to go to sleep and not wake up. And I did too. I've got to get into work. I'm going to leave it there. Be awesome. Be you. Be amazing. Be what this world needs. Because this world needs love. Thank you guys for watching this. I'm going to put a warning on the title. So, I love you guys. Bye.